Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Anna, and if you like reading vlogs, book reviews, and the occasional bookish hot take, don't forget to subscribe. Now, I'm going to go through really fast the 4 books I read in February, which means this is my February wrap up. So I did these really beautiful curls in my hair, and I like the way how they give my hair this short little bob thing. And I'm also afraid that when I do comb them out, they'll be ruined. So that's just my little rant for today. Now, in no particular order, or I might do in particular order because here they are. Coincidentally, they are, I read them, I finished them based on their height. Weird, I just realized that now. So I read Shutter Island, which is a 5 star. I was really dying to read this ever since I discovered the movie and that it had a really beautiful plot twist. Whenever I know that there is a movie's based on a book, I have to read the book first before I watch the movie. And so I end up not watching a lot of movies because half the time I never read the books. This is a 5 star. It follows, really, I'm going to be honest. I can read a book and love a book, but I don't always remember the name of the characters because I'm really bad at names. And you know when I really love a book if I can remember the characters. Or maybe they have really memorable names. Anyways, it follows a marshal, Ted Daniels. He goes to an insane asylum on a weekend of a storm to, investigate the what happened to a missing patient. Lots of plot twists, keeps you second guessing. If you haven't read this book, I would suggest that you read it 5 star. Absolutely loved it. Also, right after reading this, I watched a movie. And for the most part, the movie sticks to the book. But if you want to really be on your toes, I suggest that you read the book. There's a lot of mystery stuff and stuff that have you solving riddles that are done in the book that are not done in the movies. And I started this video with my glasses on, and for some reason, I'm getting this weird feeling that you're seeing my soft box light, so I'm gonna remove my glasses. I hate watching. I don't mind watching other people's video with the light. I just don't. When I'm editing, I don't like seeing the light from my glasses. Uh, but I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna redo this video. So this is The Giver. This is a 2 star. I watched a movie years ago. I read this book. Also, this is a gift from someone at my mom's work. I watched the movie, really loved it. And I thought I would love the book, but I didn't because this follows a world where we're following, I think is his name Logan? Joshua. We're following Joshua. And so in this world, when you become 12, there's a ceremony and that's how you get your job. You basically become an adult when you're 12. And so Joshua find out that he will become what is called the receiver. He will basically receive of um the history of the world. Now the concept of that is really nice. However, I hate books with a lot of time jumps. And this book has a lot of time jumps. And there are so many things that weren't explained. Also, this is the first book in a series called The Quartet. And normally I rather be hooked in a series from the first book than wait for it to get better in the other books because that's time wasted. And if the third book is where it gets better in a series, then why wasn't that the first book? It was a 2 star. Loved the movie. Really wanted to love this. I just felt that in terms of how the world was explained to the reader, it was undeveloped. There was a lot more that could have been explained, even with all the massive time jumps. Also, this is 176 pages, so I don't know what we could really learn from a 176-page book, but it was a 2-star. Another book I really wanted to love, If He Had Been With Me. Now, this was a 3-star. And one of the reasons why I didn't enjoy this book is I kind of knew it was going to end, because when this book started getting popular on Book Talk, everyone on Book Talk went on Book Talk and basically told us what was going to happen. And so, although I knew what was going to happen, I wanted to read it for myself to see if I would enjoy it. I I don't. I'm going to start by saying I'm 28. I don't really connect well with YA books unless it's fantasy. So I try not to read a lot of YA books that are not fantasy. Because while I can relate or get behind a girl with a dragon, I don't. I'm a fantasy reader. I don't connect with 18-year-olds. I didn't connect with them when I was 18, and I sure as hell is not going to connect with some child when I'm 28. So I tend not to read YA because I know of my preference and I can be very biased. But I really, really wanted to love this book. And one of the reasons why I end up giving it 3 stars, if You've Read Sam, during the last few pages of that book, it reminded me of You've Read Sam. And I loved You've Read Sam. There's a lot that's, I don't know, for some reason it just reminded me of You Read Sam, and I really did love You Read Sam. Now this book follows, what's her name, two friends. Yeah, Finny and what's her name? Autumn. They've been childhood friends, they grew up, and as they got older they drift apart. And at the end they finally realized that they kind of loved each other. Also, there's a lot of mental issues that were brought up that were swept under the rug. And in a book that's marked YA, I just thought that there's a lot more education that could, or there's a better way that they could have been structured in the book. And I didn't like the adults in this. Autumn mom wasn't there for her. Her dad wasn't there. Finney's mom and dad wasn't there. Like I said, I'm 28. This was a 3-star. Now, the other 5-star book I read is A Ministry of Time. Listen, I started this book and I had to stop reading it for a while because I don't know. I knew something mysterious was going to happen. I didn't know exactly what is a science fiction, and this is the first science fiction I've read in a while. And it follows a girl who we don't know her name, but she's a bridge for Commander Graham Gore. Love that man. So it's a future world where they have, quote unquote, mastered time travel, and so they went into the past during the Victorian era, and they got some soldiers, people who would have died in their timeline, so they didn't disrupt the whatever. I read this purely because it has the subgenre of romance. Really loved it. It has like this really, really big plot twist that you wouldn't see coming. I didn't see coming. It was a 5-star. Really loved it. A lot went down in this book. It also hits on themes like racism, colonial, colo. I'm gonna put the word on screen. Just yeah, and it talks about immigration and stuff like that, and we get to learn. I like that. I don't know anything about the time period that these soldiers were taken from, but I like that throughout the book we get to see them trying to adjust to the 21st century, and it wasn't something that was just mentioned in the first chapter and then by 3 chapters down how they knew everything that there was to know. Because as someone who's been around for a really long time, there's so much that I still don't know about the world. So I love that throughout the entire book, you see them still trying to figure out the world. And I love how the book ends on, I like it. I don't know what I call it. It's an open-ended suspense. It's a suspense where it's not really a cliffhanger. It's more like you're open to think whatever you want. So I don't like talking about my car crash, but I feel like I have to defend myself because people are going to come in and say, "Oh, you can't structure a proper sentence." Sometimes the word I think I want to say, I say it in my brain, but for some reason it won't come out of my mouth. So forgive me if I don't, my grammar is bad or I don't have the best English. I really don't give a shit right now. But yeah, so I love how the book end on in a suspense where you basically you can pick the ending you want. You can assume one thing or you can assume another. And so I kind of really love that. As a matter of fact, halfway through reading this book, I kept checking to see if this book was a standalone or it's part of a series. But the only thing I found is I think this book I think is gonna become a TV show, I think. Anyways, I know this video is probably longer than it should have. This video is longer than it should have been. Anyways, I read 4 books last month. Let me know how much books you've read down in the comment section below. And if you're still here, thank you so much for watching. And keep devouring those books, you beautiful bookworm or handsome bookworm if you're a guy. Or if you're a girl, I don't know. Maybe guys want to be beautiful and girls want to be handsome. Who really knows what's going on these days? Regardless, I hope you guys have a wonderful year, month, week, day, hour, minute, second, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.